So according to Gurman, and I think that his word is gold here in this particular situation. He wrote in his Bloomberg piece, inventory of existing high-end 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, as well as the all-in-one iMac desktop, has dwindled. We already talked about that part. And these are typically signs that a product update is looming. So that's what we expect. And there was a lot of question of, well, is it going to be an M2 update, right? Because we weren't expecting M3 until next year. But Gurman had a story, I forget when it came out, we talked about it, where he said Apple is already testing the M3 variant chips. And it seems like they actually have been doing that for a while. So I could see us being in a position where these are going to be M3. And at this point, calling your event Scary Fast, it's got to be M3 Max. Otherwise, you're clowning yourself big time. Then I really do hope that Tim Cook shows up in a clown costume with a big nose. Because if it's not M3, it's going to be... I mentioned this on X. The memes are going to be legendary. Like, you can't call this Scary Fast and then just show up with an M2 variant. Yeah, so it looks like we are going to get M3 Pro and Max chips. And I guess the one other thing I would mention is, and I don't think this is going to happen, but OLED, iPad, and MacBook rumored to feature specialized display materials. Now, this is a story that I think that we covered. This is a Mac rumor story, and they're saying that Apple has been working with LG to integrate OLED into some of its future devices. Now, this story says that they're not going to get any OLEDs into Macs until 2027. But I'm thinking, okay, that's probably true. But if they're going to release a new MacBook Pro, is it enough to just upgrade to the M3 Max and leave it at that? Or do they have to add something else? And I was like, well, it'd be pretty interesting if they also added OLED. That would be something that would be a big deal, but not a big enough deal to warrant an in-person event, because it would be an increase in contrast ratio and like color accuracy and that thing. You don't need to have a big, in-person event to push that. But I don't know. What do you think, Griffin? Do you think it's enough to just plop in the M3 Max and call it good and just do an online video and be like, all right, here are some updated MacBook Pros now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I mean,
well, maybe it's just me then. All right.
this is the kind of thing that, like, you said this computer is only arriving like a matter of like 9 months after the last revision to the same computer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a chip update. Like, this is, you know, we were complaining during the Intel. I mean, not we specifically, because I wasn't on the show during the Intel era, but broadly, we as like the tech community were complaining during the Intel era that Apple wasn't updating these computers very frequently. They would go like at least 18 months between revisions of the MacBook Pros, stuff like that. Well, this is what happens when you get more regular updates. You get smaller updates. They have new chips ready, so they're going to update the MacBooks with newer chips. Later, we'll get the new displays, and that'll be another update.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. More analysis by Gurman on that. I mean, not shocking, but he was expecting up to 16 CPU cores and up to 40 GPU cores for the MacBook Pro. Now that's bonkers. I mean, how many cores the M1 Max? I always forget this. It has 10 cores, right? M1 Max CPU cores. I think it's 10. It might be 12. Let's see here. So the M1 Max, the reason I use the M1 Max is because that's what I have, and I think a lot of you probably have the same thing. Yeah, it's up to 10-core CPU and 32-core GPU. So that would be a pretty big boost in performance, and I imagine that they will be using a better, a more efficient process to create these chips. So they'll probably be more efficient anyway, just because the technology has improved, the manufacturing has improved. They'll fit more transistors on there. But then they're also going to have 60% more cores than the M1 Max. Like that's a pretty big, massive difference in performance just from the CPU perspective. And then you also get like an additional 8 cores. So like if you're a video editor, like you should be celebrating right now. If you do any editing of any kind, this is going to be like a huge, a huge change in performance for you.
I'm kind of expecting them to just do the 13-inch MacBook Pro and not touch the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Wait a second. Did you say that you're expecting them to only do the 13-inch and not touch the 14 and 16?
Yeah.
That would be one of the biggest disappointments of my lifetime. Are you being serious? I can't tell if you're being serious right now.
I am being serious. I think they're only gonna do the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Maybe I'm misreading all of these rumors because I guess I haven't been reading Gurman stuff quite as extensively as you have.
I've been pouring through his timeline. I don't think I've ever said Gurman so many times in my life. Certainly not within this much of a condensed time period. But he's the one that's been following this the most closely. And I don't know, man.
Is he specifically saying 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro when he talks about like the retail shortages and all that?
Yeah, so he literally said 14 and 16-inch high-end MacBook Pros and then the iMac. He's like, those are the ones that are out of stock on Best Buy. They're out of stock on Amazon. I mean, shoot. Let's go. Apple.com.
Interesting.
Well, let's just go straight to the source.
Okay, sure. All right.
Let's go straight to the source. Let's go MacBook Pro. Okay. Where's browser mode? And let's look at this. They got the 13-inch. Look at that. That's like, this is the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull MacBook edition right here, right? It doesn't even exist to me. I don't even want to see it. And we're going to go to the 14 and 16-inch. They keep trying to push this 13-inch in my face. Let's just go to the high end and select it and see what it says. I'm not going to change anything. Yeah, dude. Shipping November 20th. You know?
Okay, I stand corrected. I might be changing some of my predictions.
Okay, so let's go back to, oh, shoot, I'm helping you out, aren't I? Okay, let's go to the 14-inch. Yep, ships November 10th to November 17th.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, this is interesting. The 14-inch, the base model, and I guess the mid model, they are available today. Now, that is interesting. Wait, that's for pickup. So if you want to order the mid model, that's also mid-November. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reconvincing myself that you're wrong. And let's look at one other thing. Let's go to iMac. We're doing it real time. We're going to the iMac. We're confirming. This is what a journalist does. You get a lead like I do from Mark Gurman's tweets. I got a lead from his tweets. We do the research, okay? We're going to the iMac 24-inch. Now, wait a second. Did their header say iMac 24-inch before? It probably did. But
It probably did, yeah.
I don't recall it saying that.
Because for a while they were selling the 24-inch simultaneously with the iMac Pro.
All right, I'll allow it. Let's go to buy. Let's see what happens. So, if you want to buy the iMac, well now, hold on a second. If you want to buy the iMac, available for pickup today, and you can have it shipped. Now that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you have it shipped, it gets delivered October 30th. So those do not have a massive delay on Apple's website.
Interesting.
So, that is interesting. All right, well, look. Let's talk about iMac just to sum up. So we are expecting, at this point, an iMac with an M3. I think it's probably going to be 24 inches, and it's literally going to be the same iMac with the same colors. It's just going to have an M3 in it. What do you think about that, Griffin?
Yeah, I think that's all that computer needs. If it's the lower level model, I think they have room where they could put a pro level chip in there. I mean, certainly the Mac Mini is also a compact, internally compact device that takes both the M and M Pro level chip. But I don't think the smaller iMac really needs that. Apple is saying that if you need a bigger screen, more powerful chip, you take your pick of like Mac Mini or Mac Studio with a Studio display, and I think that's fine. I don't think that's a perfect solution. I think there is still room for a bigger iMac, but for the smaller one, the people buying that computer, they don't need a lot of space.
Yeah. Well, we're not gonna have to wait long before all shall be revealed.